I stand frozen in the corner of Luna's engagement party, watching the scene unfold like I'm peering through someone else's eyes. The Napa Valley Vineyard estate glows golden in the late afternoon sun, casting warm light across faces that have known me my entire life. Crystal glasses filled with champagne catch the light, transforming ordinary moments into something that almost looks magical if you don't look too closely. Daniel's fingers find mine, squeezing gently as my father taps his silver spoon against his glass. The delicate chime silences the room immediately. Next to me, Daniel shifts his weight, his shoulder pressing reassuringly against mine. He knows what these family gatherings cost me. Friends, colleagues, loved ones. My father begins, his voice carrying that particular timbre that commands attention in boardrooms and family dinners alike. Eleanor and I couldn't be prouder to celebrate Luna's engagement to James. Luna beams from her place beside James, her eyes shining with expectation. At 29, my little sister still possesses that quality of breathless anticipation I lost somewhere in my 30s. The room shifts forward slightly, business associates and family friends leaning in. My mother stands beside my father, her diamond earrings catching the light each time she turns her head, to smile adoringly at Luna. But we have another announcement to make tonight, Father continues, his voice warming with pride. As a wedding gift to our daughter, Eleanor and I are giving Luna 15% ownership in White Family Trucking. The air leaves my lungs in a silent rush. Beside me, Daniel's grip tightens painfully. Mother steps forward, her perfectly manicured hand resting on Father's arm. The paperwork was finalized last week, she adds, her voice sweet with satisfaction. This 15% stake is worth $1.2 million. The room erupts in applause. I watch business associates nodding approvingly, family friends exchanging impressed glances. My smile feels carved onto my face as the room blurs slightly at the edges. $1.2 million. For Luna, my sister who has never worked a day at the family business. Stay calm, Daniel whispers, his lips barely moving. I'm right here. When the applause dies down, I find myself moving forward, my body operating on autopilot. Luna's arms wrap around me, her expensive perfume enveloping me as she hugs me tightly. Can you believe it? She whispers, and I hear genuine excitement in her voice. I never expected anything like this. Congratulations, I hear myself say, the word mechanical but convincing enough. I've had years of practice at sounding sincere while swallowing disappointment. My parents accept praise from their guests, my father's hand clasped firmly on James's shoulder as he welcomes him to the family not just as a son-in-law but as a future business partner. The implications hang in the air, unspoken but unmistakable. A memory surfaces, sharp and sudden. My own wedding 7 years ago, unwrapping the kitchen appliance my parents had given us. You'll need this for work, Mother had said, as if a coffee maker was an appropriate gift for their firstborn daughter who had just married. No business shares, no inheritance discussion. Just practical kitchenware for the daughter they expected to make her own way. Daniel guides me to a quiet corner, concern etched across his face. You okay? He asks, keeping his voice low. I feel my practiced smile crack slightly at the edges. Not here, I whisper back. Not now. The evening progresses with excruciating slowness. James raises his glass in a toast, his voice carrying across the room. To joining such a generous family, he says, eyes bright with genuine gratitude. The guests murmur appreciatively, and I catch fragments of conversations as I move through the crowd. Substantial gift, says someone to my right. Smart business move, adds another. Luna's always been their pride and joy, whispers an older woman to her husband, not realizing I'm within earshot. Across the room, Sarah catches my eye, her worried glance communicating volumes. We've been friends since childhood, and she's witnessed every instance of my parents' favoritism toward Luna. She raises an eyebrow in silent question. Are you all right? I give her a small nod, not trusting myself to do more. Daniel returns to my side with a glass of water, standing close enough that our arms touch. His presence anchors me as I make small talk with family friends who haven't bothered to ask about my recent promotion or the patent application that could transform cybersecurity protocols in banking systems. Something shifts inside me as I watch Luna accept congratulations, as I see my parents bask in the approval of their peers. A lifetime of moments crystallizes into clarity. This won't pass like previous hurts. This is too public, too significant to swallow down and ignore. As the party winds down, my phone lights up with a notification. Luna has posted to her social media. Officially a millionaire. Blessed. family business. Daniel watches my face as I stare at the screen, his eyes steady and understanding. The last guests filter out into the cooling evening air as thunder rumbles in the distance, nature providing the perfect backdrop for my simmering emotions. This ends tonight, I say quietly, and for the first time in years, I mean it. Have you ever witnessed favoritism that took your breath away? Share your experience in the comments. 3 hours later, the emptied ballroom feels cavernous now, littered with the aftermath of celebration. Crystal flutes with lipstick-stained rims sit abandoned on linen-draped tables. Gift wrappings scatter like expensive confetti across the floor. Only our family remains, the 5 of us suspended in the artificial warmth of this rented vineyard paradise. Luna stands by the windows, holding the framed share certificate up to catch the last light of evening. The gold embossing gleams as she traces her name with a manicured fingertip. James hovers nearby, phone in hand, probably calculating what his fiancée's newfound wealth means for their future. I sit unnaturally still on a high-backed chair, spine rigid against the carved wood. Daniel's hand rests on my shoulder, his thumb making small, soothing circles against the silk of my dress. The weight of his touch anchors me to the moment when everything else feels unsteady. Father loosens his tie with a satisfied sigh. "Wonderful evening," he announces to no one in particular. "Couldn't have gone better." The words break something loose inside me. Why don't I get the same? The question emerges with a calmness that surprises me. Mother's champagne glass pauses halfway to her lips. "What?" "The shares. Why doesn't your firstborn daughter receive 15% too?" My voice remains steady, though my pulse hammers in my throat. Mother sets her glass down with deliberate care. "Natalia, don't be ridiculous. You have a successful career. You don't need shares." "The need isn't the point." I fold my hands in my lap to keep them from shaking. The fairness island. Father's face darkens as he steps closer. The transfer is done. Legal. Finalized. Each word lands like a judge's gavel. "Don't stir up trouble, just be happy for your sister." Luna shifts her weight, eyes darting toward James. He stares at his shoes, clearly wishing himself anywhere but here. The certificate in Luna's hands suddenly seems to weigh her down. "I gave up my college fund so Luna could attend Westridge Academy," I say. The memory rises sharp and clear, 18-year-old me, sitting at the kitchen table while Father explained they couldn't afford both. I moved to the smallest bedroom when Luna wanted a study space for her art. I worked 3 jobs through college while Luna received full financial support. "That was different," Mother interrupts, her voice climbing higher. "Luna needed more help to succeed. You were always so independent, so capable. Being capable shouldn't mean being punished for it." Father's jaw tightens. "We made choices we thought best for both of you. This discussion is inappropriate and ungrateful." Ungrateful? The word tastes bitter. For 33 years, I've swallowed every disappointment, accepted every explanation, watched every dollar and opportunity flow toward Luna, while I made my own way. Daniel's hand tightens slightly on my shoulder. "If this is final," he says quietly, "then at least respect Natalia's feelings about it. Acknowledgement costs nothing." Mother's eyes fill with tears right on schedule. "We've always treated you both equally. How can you say otherwise?" "Equally?" I laugh, the sound hollow. "Name one time, Mother. One single instance where Luna didn't receive preference." "This conversation ends now," Father says, voice low with warning. "Drop this or leave." A curious lightness fills me as I stand. After 33 years, I finally see clearly. This wasn't ever going to change. I reach for the silver bracelet on my wrist. Grandmother's passed to me on my 16th birthday before she died. The clasp opens easily under my fingers. For a moment, the weight of it rests in my palm, warm from my skin. I place it gently on the table. I won't be the family afterthought anymore. Daniel rises beside me, his presence solid and unwavering. We move toward the door together. "Natalia, please, you're overreacting." Luna's voice breaks the stunned silence. It's the first thing she's said since my confrontation began. I turn back. My sister's face is flushed, her eyes wide with genuine confusion. She truly doesn't see it. None of them do. Mother presses a hand to her mouth. Father stands frozen, jaw working silently. For the first time in my life, I've rendered him speechless. "Family should lift each other equally," I say, softer now. "When was the last time any of you celebrated my accomplishments?" Did you know I'm up for a patent that could transform cybersecurity protocols? That I was promoted last month? That Daniel and I are considering starting our own company? Their blank expressions answer for them. I thought so. I reach for Daniel's hand. Congratulations on your engagement, Luna. And your inheritance. Outside, the night air wraps around us, cool and clarifying. Thunder rumbles in the distance as we walk to our car, neither of us speaking until we're safely inside. Are you okay? Daniel asks finally, not starting the engine yet. I look back at the golden windows of the Vineyard estate, at the shadows of my family still visible inside. A strange mixture of grief and relief washes through me. No, I answer truthfully, but I think someday I will be. The first drops of rain hit the windshield as we drive away, leaving behind 33 years of silence. An hour later, in our apartment, rain drums against our living room windows, nature's percussion accompanying the storm inside me. Daniel moves quietly around our kitchen, the kettle's whistle piercing the silence as he prepares chamomile tea. The warmth of our modest craftsman home usually comforts me, but tonight the contrast between our cozy space and Luna's luxurious lifestyle stings with fresh awareness. Here you go. Daniel places a steaming mug beside me, his fingers brushing mine in silent support. I nod my thanks, unable to form words as I stare at the photo albums spread across our coffee table. The leather-bound volumes chronicle a lifetime of subtle wounds, physical evidence I've never examined collectively until now. My hands tremble slightly as I open the earliest album. You don't have to do this tonight, Daniel says, settling beside me on our well-worn sofa. I do. My voice sounds foreign to my own ears. I need to see it all at once. The first photo shows Christmas morning when I was 8, Luna just 4. My small face beams with forced brightness as I hold up sensible winter clothes while Luna sits surrounded by wrapping paper, clutching an elaborate Victorian dollhouse that must have cost our parents a month's salary. The dollhouse still sits in their attic, preserved like a museum piece. Look at your eyes, Daniel says, tapping the photo. Even then you were putting on a brave face. I turn the page and land on my high school graduation. There I stand in my cap and gown, holding the luggage my parents gave me for college. The next page shows Luna beside the brand new Volkswagen they bought for her graduation 3 years later. They told me the luggage was practical, I explain, the memory sharp despite the years. They said cars were too expensive. Daniel's jaw tightens, yet they found the money for Luna. Duh. My finger traces the edge of another photo Luna on her first day at college, our parents flanking her proudly. The private university education they fully funded, while I worked 3 campus jobs to supplement my loans at State. Jesus, Natalia. Daniel's voice catches as we move through the albums. I knew things were unequal, but seeing it all together like this. The pattern reveals itself with crushing clarity. Luna's dance recitals attended by our entire extended family while my academic competitions had empty seats. My software engineering fellowship barely acknowledged while Luna's brief internship at a fashion magazine warranted a celebration dinner. What about this one? Daniel points to a photo I've never noticed before. A family dinner, where everyone faces Luna, laughing at something she said. I sit slightly apart, my achievement trophy barely visible on the table beside me. That was the night I won the Young Innovators Award. Dad said we'd celebrate later. My throat tightens. We never did. We never did. The phone rings, startling us both. Sarah's name flashes on my screen, and I hesitate before answering. I've been trying to call you, she says immediately. I've watched this happen for 20 years, Nat. I'm with you on this. Tears blur my vision. Thanks, Sarah. They never deserved you, she continues, her voice firm with loyalty. Remember when your coding project won that national competition senior year, and your parents skipped the ceremony because Luna had a cold? Daniel raises his eyebrows as I nod into the phone, another memory clicking into place. After we hang up, our doorbell chimes unexpectedly. Daniel peers through the peephole and looks back at me with surprise before opening the door to reveal Professor Williams, my undergraduate mentor, standing in the rain with a concerned expression. I heard what happened, he says, removing his dripping raincoat. His silver hair is plastered to his forehead, but his eyes are clear and determined. Your parents never saw your brilliance, Natalia, but everyone else did. The unexpected show of support leaves me momentarily speechless. You drove an hour in this weather? Some things can't wait, He settles into an armchair, declining Daniel's offer of tea. When that family business needed modernization 5 years ago, whose security software did they implement? Yours. Who solved their logistical problems when they expanded? You did. My phone buzzes repeatedly with incoming messages, colleagues expressing outrage at my family's treatment, friends offering support. Daniel collects my phone, scrolling through with widening eyes. You've built more than you realize, he says, showing me the screen filled with notifications. Look at all these people who see your value. For the first time since the party, something eases in my chest. I hadn't realized how much I needed this external validation proof, that I'm not crazy, that the pattern others see matches my experience. Your career speaks for itself, Professor Williams says, leaning forward. Your patent application could revolutionize how banks protect customer data. Meanwhile, he hesitates. Meanwhile, Luna has tried and abandoned 4 careers. I finish for him, all funded by my parents. They gave her fish but taught you to fish, Daniel says quietly, the simple observation striking me with its accuracy. The irony that Luna received business shares despite having no business experience suddenly seems almost comical. I've built my success through work and sacrifice, while Luna has had everything handed to her. My phone rings again, Mother's name appearing on the screen. I send it to voicemail, but seconds later the notification for a new message appears. Want me to listen to it? Daniel offers. I nod, watching his expression change as he holds the phone to his ear. We've always loved you both the same. He mimics my mother's tearful voice after hanging up. That's exactly what someone would say if they didn't. In fact, love you both the same. My laptop chimes with a new email from my father. The subject line reads, Family Matters in all capitals. I open it to find a stern paragraph admonishing me for making private family matters public and insisting we put this nonsense to bed. He still thinks he can control the narrative. I say, showing Daniel the screen. He's been doing it your whole life, Daniel replies, his arm around my shoulders. They all have. A text from Luna arrives next. You're ruining my engagement celebration. How could you be so selfish? The words sting, but less now. The albums spread before me provide concrete evidence of what I've endured, a visual record no one can dismiss as imagination or oversensitivity. Professor Williams rises to leave, patting my shoulder. Remember, Natalia, family is who treats you like family. Your parents may share your DNA, but these people, he gestures to my phone full of supportive messages, to Daniel, these are your real family. After he leaves, headlights sweep across our front windows. Daniel peers out and frowns. Your parents are here, he says, voice hardening. Want me to send them away? I consider for a moment, then nod. I need time. Through the rain-streaked window, I watch Daniel step onto our porch, closing the door behind him. His posture is protective as he speaks to my parents standing in the downpour. Mother tries to move past him toward our door, but he stands firm. Eventually, they retreat to their luxury sedan, defeated expressions visible even through the rain. When Daniel returns, his shirt damp from the confrontation, a new strength flows through me. For the first time, I've maintained a boundary with my family, and the sky hasn't fallen. How do you recognize when family patterns are too deeply ingrained to change? I ask Daniel, closing the photo albums one by one. He considers the question carefully before answering. When showing them the pattern repeatedly makes no difference. When they refuse to see what's right in front of them. I nod, the truth of his words settling into my bones. I think I've been showing them my whole life. Daniel gathers me in his arms as the rain continues its steady rhythm against our windows. The storm outside might continue, but inside, I feel the first tentative rays of clarity breaking through decades of clouds. My office feels like sanctuary 1 month after Luna's engagement party. The gentle hum of computers and fluorescent lights creates a rhythm that drowns out the noise of family drama. I focus on the code before me, lost in the elegant solution to a security protocol issue that stumped our team for weeks. My computer chimes with an incoming email. I glance at it, then do a double take. Congratulations, Natalia White, reads the subject line from our CEO, Senior Director of Cybersecurity Initiative. The promotion I've been working toward for 3 years. The validation hits me in waves, recognition based on merit, not blood relation or favoritism. My phone buzzes with Daniel's name on screen. Did you see the email? He asks, his voice warm with pride. Just now. I reply, my voice steady despite the emotion swelling in my chest. How did you know already? Your boss called me this morning. I've been planning a celebration dinner all day. Don't stay late. I smile, imagining Daniel in our kitchen, sleeves rolled up as he prepares my favorite meal. In our 8 years together, he's never missed an opportunity to celebrate my achievements, even the ones my family overlooked. As if on cue, my phone lights up again. Mother's name appears on the caller ID for the 3rd time this week. I silence it, adding her to the growing list of family members I'm not ready to speak with. The Thompson cousins called yesterday, Daniel says, hearing my sigh. And your Aunt Judith left another voicemail about healing the family rift. Let them call, I reply, surprised by the calm in my voice. I'm focused on what matters now. The peace I've found in this distance feels earned, not empty. For the first time in 33 years, I'm defining myself without the white family shadow hanging over me. When I arrive home, the aroma of rosemary and garlic greets me. Daniel has transformed our dining room with candles and the good china we rarely use. A bottle of champagne chills in an ice bucket. To the newest senior director, Daniel toasts, his eyes reflecting both pride and concern, and to boundaries that should have been set years ago. We clink glasses just as my phone buzzes with a notification. Sarah has forwarded me a social media post from Luna, elaborate floral arrangements for her upcoming wedding, captioned, "When your parents spare no expense for their daughter's special day." Mother has shared professional photos of Luna visiting wedding venues, her caption about carrying on the family business legacy, thinly veiled ammunition in their campaign to pressure me back into compliance. Your father showed up at your office building yesterday, Daniel says carefully, watching my reaction. Security called me. I set down my fork. He what? He couldn't get past the lobby. I've spoken with security at both your office and here at home. They understand the situation. The anger rises hot in my chest, not just at my father's intrusion but at the audacity. Let me guess. He wanted to reason with me about Luna's wedding? Daniel nods. Apparently Aunt Judith is telling everyone you're having some kind of breakdown, that the pressure of your job has made you mentally unstable. I laugh, the sound sharp and unfamiliar to my ears. Of course, because setting boundaries after decades of being treated as an afterthought couldn't possibly be a rational decision. After dinner, I draft an email to the extended family who've been calling and texting. The words flow with surprising clarity. I appreciate your concern for family harmony. However, the pattern of favoritism I've experienced isn't new and isn't trivial. I'm taking space to reassess relationships that have consistently demanded my understanding while offering little in return. I'm well and focused on my career and marriage. Please respect my decision to engage on my terms in my time. Daniel reads it over my shoulder. Perfect, he says. Clear, calm, and absolutely final. The next morning, I have my first session with Dr. Rivera, a family therapist Daniel researched last week. I need to process this properly, I explain, not just react. That's remarkably self-aware, she replies. Many people in your position would simply burn bridges. I've spent my life building things, I tell her. Even if these relationships need complete reconstruction, I want to approach it strategically. That weekend, we hosted a small dinner for true friends, Sarah, my mentor Professor Williams, and colleagues who've become confidants. We laugh, share stories, and create new traditions untainted by old hurts. When my phone rang over and over with Luna's name Tuesday morning next week, I almost ignored it, but as Shabia's persistent, something seemed off. Dad says the business might be in trouble. She blurts before I can speak. Something about cash flow problems and lost contracts. He's looking for investors. The irony isn't lost on me. The same morning I received notification that my patent application has been approved, with a substantial bonus attached. The family business falters. I'm sorry to hear that. I reply carefully. That's it? You're sorry? Luna's voice cracks. Mom and Dad are fighting about my wedding costs, and James is asking questions about joining a family business that might be struggling, and all you can say is you're sorry? I take a deep breath. What exactly are you asking from me, Luna? Her silence speaks volumes. In the background, I hear our mother's voice rising in an argument. I have to go. Luna says finally. James says this is all getting to be too much. The tension, the family drama. After we hang up, I sit in the quiet of my home office, staring at the framed patent certificate Daniel had made for my previous innovation. Below it sits the notification of my newly approved patent and the investment portfolio we've been building. Steady, strategic choices that have positioned us well, regardless of family connections. The realization settles over me like morning light. My independence has become my greatest strength, not just financially but emotionally. While my family's facade begins to crack under pressure, I'm building something sustainable. Daniel finds me smiling as I review investment options for my bonus. Good news? He asks. The best kind, I reply. I'm finally seeing clearly. The cream envelope arrives on a Tuesday 2 weeks later. After a prolonged silence, it slipped between bills and junk mail like an ordinary piece of correspondence. But I know what it is before my fingers trace the gold-embossed edges. Luna's wedding invitation. Daniel watches from the kitchen doorway, dish towel in hand, as I stand motionless by the mail table. You don't have to open it now, he says, his voice gentle. I slide my thumb under the sealed flap. The heavy cardstock feels expensive, substantial. Inside, calligraphy announces Luna and James's wedding date, 6 weeks away at the Fairmont Hotel. A small handwritten note falls onto the table. I need my sister there. Please come. Love, Luna. My throat tightens. Weeks have passed since I walked out of the engagement party. 3 months of rebuilding my sense of self beyond the family narrative. What does it say? Daniel asks, crossing to stand beside me. I hand him the invitation. She wants her punching bag in attendance. The phone rings that evening as we're finishing dinner. Mother's number flashes on the screen. Daniel raises an eyebrow in silent question. I answer on the third ring. Luna is devastated you might not come, Mother says without preamble. This is her special day, Natalia. Hello to you too, Mom. Don't be difficult. This isn't about your issues with us. This is about supporting your sister. I press my fork against the plate, watching the tines bend slightly. My issues? You mean the lifetime of favoritism culminating in $1 million gift? That's business, not family, she says, voice sharp. The wedding is family. After I hang up, Daniel refills my wine glass. You okay? Just peachy, I say, but my hand trembles slightly as I reach for the glass. The following day brings a text from an unknown number. My father's new cell. Lunch tomorrow? Need to clear the air before the wedding. The Capitol Grill at 1. I show Daniel at breakfast. Are you going? He asks, stirring his coffee. I should hear what he has to say. I take a slow breath. But I'm not making promises. The next day, the restaurant buzzes with business lunches when I arrive. Father stands as I approach the table, his face unreadable behind his practiced business smile. You look well, he says, nodding to the chair across from him. Thank you for meeting, he begins after we order. Luna talks about you constantly. She misses her big sister. Does she miss me, or the sister who never complained when she took what was mine? His jaw tightens. That's not fair. Fairness isn't exactly your specialty, Dad. We sit in strained silence until our food arrives. He cuts into his steak with surgical precision. Look, he says finally, whatever grievances you think you have with us, this wedding is important. Luna needs you there. Luna has always gotten what she needs, I reply, voice steady. What about what I need? The calls continue through the week. Aunt Patricia insisting family comes first. Uncle Robert reminiscing about holding baby Luna while I stood by watching. Cousins I haven't spoken to in years suddenly concerned about family unity. Then Luna herself, voice breaking. It won't be the same without you, Nat. I always pictured you standing beside me. I take the questions to my therapist, Dr. Winters, the following Tuesday. What do you truly want? She asks after I recount the barrage of family pressure. I want them to acknowledge what they've done. I say, picking at a loose thread on the couch cushion, not just with the shares, but all of it. And if they can't, or won't. I look up at her. Then I need to decide if I'm strong enough to attend on my terms, or if I need to protect myself by staying away. That night, Daniel and I sit on our back deck, watching stars emerge in the darkening sky. Professor Williams called today, he says, passing me a mug of tea. Asked about you. What did you say? That you're fighting battles most people never have to face. He takes my hand. Professor said to remind you that attendance isn't the same as approval. 3 days later, I draft my letter. Not an emotional plea, but a clear statement of boundaries. I write about specific instances of favoritism throughout our lives. About the college fund diverted to Luna's private school. About the childhood holidays where her gifts towered over mine. I end with my conditions. I will attend Luna's wedding if you can acknowledge these patterns existed, not to place blame, but to ensure we build something healthier moving forward. Daniel reads it twice before I send it. Are you sure? It's time for honesty, I say, clicking send. The pre-wedding dinner arrives before I receive a direct response. We meet at Riviera, an upscale restaurant where the soft lighting seems designed to mask uncomfortable truths. Luna fidgets with her engagement ring, while James makes stilted conversation about honeymoon plans. Mother sips her wine, perfect posture betraying the tension she carries. Father checks his watch repeatedly. The salmon here is excellent, Luna says, attempting to bridge the silence that stretches between us. I notice my father watching me, something unfamiliar in his expression. Natalia, he says finally, setting down his fork. I received your letter. The table goes quiet. Daniel's hand finds mine beneath the tablecloth. We should have been fair to you. Father continues, the words seeming to cost him physical effort. I won't pretend to understand how it felt, but I recognize that our choices hurt you. Mother stares at her plate. Luna's eyes widen. I take a slow breath, feeling something shift inside me, not forgiveness exactly, but perhaps the first brick in a bridge I never expected to build. Thank you. I say simply. That's a start. On the wedding day, the morning light filters through the bridal suite as I fasten the last pearl button on Luna's wedding gown. My fingers work deliberately, each motion a bridge between the sisters we were and the women we've become. You look beautiful, I say, the words coming easier than I expected. Luna meets my eyes in the mirror, her reflection glowing with more than bridal anticipation. Thank you for being here, Nat. I wasn't sure you would come. The admission hangs between us, honest in a way we rarely managed before. I smooth the satin at her shoulders, remembering the childhood games where she always wore the crown while I played the faithful attendant. I almost didn't, I answer, my voice steady. Mother appears in the doorway, her silhouette hesitant where it once would have been commanding. She watches us silently, her eyes taking in the tableau of her daughters together again. Something in her expression shifts recognition, perhaps, of what she nearly lost permanently. Through the window, I spot Daniel in the garden, deep in conversation with Uncle Robert and Cousin Andrew. He navigates my family with the graceful diplomacy I've always admired, creating space for me where none existed before. Seeing him advocate for me without fanfare makes my chest tighten with gratitude. Father approaches as I step outside for a moment of air. His expensive shoes crunch on the gravel path. You've built a good life, he says, his voice carrying unfamiliar notes of approval. I meet his gaze directly. I have, without any shortcuts. He nods, understanding the boundary in my words. Your mother and I were talking about inviting you to the next board meeting. Your security expertise could benefit the company. I'd consider it, I reply, neither rushing to accept nor dismiss the olive branch. Growth happens in these small moments of recalibration. The ceremony unfolds beneath a canopy of white roses. When Luna and James exchange vows, her voice carries clearly. I promise to create a family based on fairness and love with you. Luna's eyes find mine as she speaks these words. The message couldn't be clearer if she'd addressed it directly to our parents. Daniel's hand finds mine, his thumb tracing reassuring circles against my palm. At the reception, champagne flows and music swells. I'm prepared for the familiar patterns to reassert themselves, but something has shifted in our family's gravitational pull. Luna taps her glass, pulling everyone's attention. James and I have an announcement, she says, her voice steady. Instead of joining White Family Trucking, we're starting our own marketing firm. Murmurs ripple through the guests. Mother's champagne glass freezes halfway to her lips. My sister taught me something valuable, Luna continues, finding me in the crowd. True independence means building your own path. Later, Father finds me alone. 3 simple words fall from his lips. I was wrong. The admission costs him visibly, his proud shoulders slightly bowed. Across the room, Mother approaches with tear-filled eyes. Her apology comes wrapped in decades of explanation, but its core rings true. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. Daniel observes as we drive home that night, the stars overhead brilliant against the November sky. 6 months later, Thanksgiving dinner unfolds in our dining room. Luna and James arrive with pictures of their new office space. Mother and father bring modest, thoughtful gifts for everyone. The conversation flows without the undertow of competition that once defined us. In the kitchen, arranging dessert plates, I pause to absorb the gentle hum of voices from the dining room. The journey here wasn't simple or painless, but standing in the warmth of our home, I understand something essential. Family is what we choose to build, not just what we're born into. What does family mean to you? Is it defined by blood, or by how people treat each other? Share your definition of true family below.